Good day, everyone, and welcome to our Smart Webinar series. We're very excited about today's webinar. To publish or not to publish? That is the question about community pricing. So without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and introduce today's speaker, Tim Donnelly. Tim is a passionate entrepreneur who founded Senior View after 20 successful years of experience perfecting lead management through his original lead marketing automation platform that was originally developed for the banking industry. When Tim was confronted with seeking the right senior care for his parents, he found it was stressful and confusing, leaving him wondering if he was making the right choice. As a problem solver by nature, he refused to accept the status quo and became driven to find a better way to connect families with the right senior care. This was personal, and this became Senior View. Senior View has created a way to support the community sales process so they can deliver the best experience possible for the family searching for senior care and their current residents. Tim's family values, coupled with his entrepreneurial experience, his problem-solving nature, fuels his team's passion for seniors and Senior View's mission. So welcome, Tim.
Yes, thank you so much, Andrea. And it's an honor and privilege to be hosting this webinar. And actually, I've got a co-host with me. That's Billy Daniels. He's our Vice President of Digital Marketing at Senior View. And so he's going to be providing the color commentary. Say hello, Billy.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, absolutely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start with a little background on Senior View that goes beyond what Andrea just said. First of all, we are a purpose-driven organization. Our motto is work to live, live to serve for the greater good. That really embodies the spirit of our culture, our DNA. If you didn't know, we're based out of Kansas City, right there in the Crossroads District, in the heart of downtown. If you didn't know, Mickey Mouse was born in Kansas City in the garage of Walt Disney when he was a young boy and living in Kansas City. It's also the home of some crazy artwork that sits out on the lawn of our museum, the shuttlecocks. That is crazy. And yes, the cattle runs across the streets, and just the suburbias. That's our street right there. And I'm just kidding. That's not true at all. And we are so proud of my homie, Patrick Mahomes. And so, yes, this is our home. We're very proud of it. So what you're really going to learn, besides the love that we have for our city, is what's near and dear to the heart of probably most that are on this call, and it's the customer experience and how to build that great experience through strategies that scale, and how to measure the efficacy of this strategy, and going down into building that experience of a plan that you could ultimately deliver in a repeatable fashion, and then tying it back with the ROI. And so we say this because there are new norms out there, and there's expectations within the marketplace, that of Uber or Amazon Prime Now or Yelp. These are methods of delivering experiences to customers, to consumers, in ways that become absolutely the norm. And those industries that do not follow this norm are really doing a disservice for those that they serve. And so we're going to hit on a couple of topics. Number one, we believe that the senior living industry has a lead management problem, and it's primarily due to the fact that the response time of those that raise their hand is not delivered in a perfect fashion. And when you don't respond as a community to a lead that's generated through your website or through your referral partners, it's really hard to get a hold of them. And those that take on A Place for Mom leads or Caring.com leads, that firsthand. And if you do connect with them live, on whether it's the first attempt or just within a short period of time afterwards, your conversion rates go through the roof. And so we believe that the industry needs to address this problem. We also believe that there's a transparency problem. And that's really what that was the title that we had on this webinar, is that, to publish or not to publish, that is the question. Well, Southwest Airlines just hits you just right there between the eyes on the transparency side of things. They're not afraid to share their pricing. And there's all kinds of other industries that years and years ago, they were scared to death to publish their quote or publish their rates or pricing. In today's consumer, it's the Amazon experience. It's not only the rates, but it's other things that give control to that consumer. And I found this is just one of the searches I did on, the lack of pricing in senior living. Boom, there's a whole bunch of results that came back, and this is one of them. And I've got, again, Billy Daniels on the line, who's an expert in trying to surface those elements into the journey of the customer to provide better transparency. Billy, your thoughts on this matter?
Yeah, this matter couldn't be more critical in terms of where the industry needs to go with their rates or their pricing, because it's the number one thing that we see on the digital side that people are searching. And what does that mean? They're searching that in Google, they're searching that in Bing, and they need instant gratification, like you talked about in this Uber era of that they want answers. And so the industry really needs to trend towards providing those answers as quickly as possible. And it's not only happening on the aspect of what are they searching into or searching on the search engine. We're also seeing that in terms of on chat transcripts as well, that it's the number one question that people are asking any of the people that engage with in chat. And then it's also, I think it's 100% of the time in our contact center it's brought up, whether it's the first question or the second question or the third question. Through our contact center analytics, we can see that this is the number one thing that people are looking for and want the answer for. So the senior living industry really needs to move forward in the aspect of providing these answers so that they can have a better consumer experience from the consumer side.
Yeah, and that's what's so crazy. It's ironic, actually. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm making a trip across the country with my family to get all the way down to the villages. And I was having breakfast this morning with somebody who's a very seasoned veteran within senior living, and I made the point to him that, look, all these other industries are doing it. A majority of senior living operators and communities are not doing it. And really, the pain point is it just slows the sales process down. Power the consumer with all the information to make a educated decision to move faster. And that leads us into this. This is a sensitive topic. When you look at what is going on again in the world, it's information that you can make an educated decision. This is just something I pulled out. And yes, I am in Nashville. I did not go to Hattie B's last night. I went to Moss Tacos, just on the east side of Nashville. But this is an example of just tons of information about a great restaurant here in Nashville, Hattie B's. It's awesome. And then we kind of flip to the senior living space, and this is this is not pointed at any particular senior living operator or community. I just pulled this off in Nashville, and this is what came up. And again, Billy, you see this day in and day out with trying to help our clients provide better transparency on the reviews. What are your suggestions to the audience today just about this matter?
Yeah, I think this is critical as well, of being transparent in the terms of the services or the care that you offer and how well you're doing at that. And to go back to your restaurant aspect of it, is the restaurant industry has done a fantastic job of automating this process. They might book their reservation through an app that then will trigger out after their reservation has been completed. How was your experience? And so the senior living industry can learn so much from that aspect of the marketing automation side of collecting these reviews has to increase in terms of whether it's a tour, there needs to be some sort of automated messaging that is being sent out to the person after they've completed a tour. And then once these residents have moved in, they also need to be getting some sort of messaging that's asking them, please review how we're doing, and then ask them to go out onto these different types of Google, Facebook, or if you have your own internal reviews, of having them leave an actual review that you can use in your marketing down funnel. More and more people turn to social media and online to understand what an experience is going to be like at any given community and or place of business. And so the fact that we're seeing, it was over 5,200 reviews at a restaurant and then 2 at a senior living community, it's no wonder that we're not, people are scared. It's truly eye-opening that this is not a priority for many communities. And maybe it is. I might be misspeaking there. It probably is a priority for a lot of them, but we're clearly not making any advancements in doing it better.
Yeah, and I'm just going to point on something that I remember way back when in the banking industry, and specifically within the mortgage sector, how hard it was for lenders to get reviews published on LendingTree, Zillow, or even on Google. And it takes so many calories to actually move the needle with respect to getting enough reviews to get noticed. But once you get there, and I can remember this with Zillow, once you get there, it is a game changer. So it's just I think the message here is that operators, communities need to do everything they possibly can to build those numbers, manage them correctly, and then it's going to provide a better experience for those families. So let's talk about that family journey. And really, this is the heart of our conversation today. And this depicts what I'll call the happy path. Now, it doesn't start out happy for the family because something happens. But prior to that life event, it's really important, if you are serving a community, that you make yourself be known. And creating that awareness helps when that family event, that life event happens. And so, you can see the different elements within the process from a family perspective up top, and then the community's perspective down below. And so the first event happens. It's like in our case, it was dramatic. Our father had Alzheimer's and fell in the shower, and it was very difficult as a family to deal with this, because we saw the caregiver, our mother, have a breakdown. And you talk about stress within the family, and I'm being the youngest of 6. I was the one that had to do the Google searches to find answers to the questions that we had, not only where we might go, but what do we do? What questions do we ask these communities? And so how important is it for the family to make yourselves known to that family? And what are you doing to accomplish this? We know that Google, that Bing or Facebook, or even going through the third-party lead aggregators like A Place for Mom or Caring.com, you have to do that so that people find you. But really, the question is, what are you doing to create a great first impression through this digital channel? And Billy, I know that you're leading the efforts in many ways, not only for our clients, but for the industry, to help make sure that we're doing everything we can as an ecosystem to really get that information out for the families to find the communities that are a good match for them.
Right. Yeah. And it really goes back to some of the stuff that you said earlier in terms of the lead aggregators have dominated this aspect of digital strategy. And it's time for communities and single brands to take that back. And that brand awareness, I'll talk about that in terms of that's where the work really needs to be done. You need to be maximizing your digital strategies in terms of your digital budgets, your paid budgets, your local SEO, or just SEO in general. Are you doing all the meta tagging on your website? Or have you hired somebody that can help you with that? Have you done an SEO audit? Because if you're not being found now, you're definitely not going to be found when that life event or life crisis happens for the consumer. So maximizing the efforts ahead of time before these events are happening to these families allows you to be researched and found online. So again, maximizing that digital strategy and actually carving out some of your marketing budget, even more of your marketing budget, is critical to being found online so that you can take back and own a lot of these leads yourself.
Yeah, and I think we do have a poll question. Andrea, is this the time that we should be doing it?
Okay, so the poll question I have is how quickly does your sales and marketing team respond to inquiries?
Okay, so that's the reviews happen online. We're going to be getting to this in the next couple of slides, but it'd be great to get feedback from the audience.
Okay. So I've gone ahead and I have released the poll, and we've got almost everybody voted. So we'll give it a few seconds. All right, I'll go ahead and close it and then share the results.
Wow.
All
right.
That's not good.
Well, at least there's no by the end of the week, right? That's good. Kudos to everybody. But this goes back to the Uber-like experience that Amazon Prime now. I don't know how many times I've had to order something on Amazon and I didn't need it tomorrow. I needed it today. And so again, life event happens. It's really important for us to deliver that great experience. And with respect to that, Bill, if you want to just touch on some of these other things, just for the fact of these inquiries are coming in through different devices, and really, if you think about that Uber-like experience, when somebody is searching on their mobile device, giving them the option of chat or actually making an outbound phone call to the community that gets taken care of immediately. It's amazing how many are done on mobile devices compared to desktop.
Yeah, definitely. And I think in a couple slides we'll see some of the different amounts of search in terms of desktop versus mobile. But here, what we're looking at is the fact that mobile is converting at a higher rate than desktop. Well, why is that? Well, typically what you're seeing is the senior themselves is searching on a desktop, and the adult children are doing the searching on mobile devices as they're in and out of their daily lives. So it's critical, and these are all things that you touched on a little bit of when you're on your website. These are all very, very small things that you could be doing, is making sure that where you want that to convert, whether that's a click to call or a form fill, is that they're either mobile friendly or easily accessible so that they can find them. And those are low hanging fruit for anyone that they can do to their current website, or start to build out landing pages that are specific to converting. And then in terms of how does Senior View stack up against the health industry, we're seeing, our landing page convert at almost a 7% rate, where if you look at the health industry in general, a little bit lower than 5%. So really, what we do with those tactics is we build landing pages that are designed for conversion. Sending them to the community's website is a tough one because it just allows them to escape, go places where they're not, trying to get into your sales funnel. And so these landing pages that we build are just hyper-focused on getting them to convert with the phone number, the form fills, and we A/B test those constantly to see which ones are doing the best.
Yeah, got it. So in this talks, to what you were just mentioning. Go ahead, Billy.
Yeah, this is kind of what I was saying is in the aspect of, in the last 12 months, just through Google alone, we've seen 1.5 million searches just in reference to senior living, assisted living, and memory care keywords. And this is only going to grow in the next 12 months. I mean, exponential growth is what's going to happen. And then the, year over year in terms of 24% just across all devices. And then the one that is just, I think is the super eye-opening one for me that all communities and everyone is smart in the senior living industry, but this year over year increase in just mobile searches alone is one that everyone needs to focus on. If you do not have a responsive website, if you do not have a mobile friendly website, or if you're not tracking the consumer's behavior, whether that's through mobile and or desktop, you need to be, because these are the stats that you need to be looking at in terms of just on your own website is how many people are coming from a mobile device, tablet or a desktop, and then trying to segment them appropriately so that your messaging is correct down funnel.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so this gets back to that the first impression that's delivered to those that raise their hand. So we saw those results that came in from the poll, which kind of allows us to have some context to this conversation. And so what are you doing to deliver that great first impression to that family? We see the fact that, you know, we're getting back to them at the end of the day, or let's say within the next 24 hours. And kudos for those 8% that were responding within a very short period of time. Again, that's helping the industry out, responding to the need of these families. And when you look at options for you to, if you don't have the resources to call them by the end of the day or by the end of tomorrow, you know, what options are available? And so there are a plethora of ways to get this done. Whether you build this internal, like an internal contact center, or external through the senior views, the real pages, or other sources out there, it really gives you the ability to make some decisions based on your business model. And if you look at what the contact rates are, you know, 60% of phone inquiries are missed or go to voicemail. And that's probably because you don't have the staff in place. 80% of those people that actually make the inquiry or make the inbound phone call that get voicemail do not leave a voicemail. And then 35% of those, and that's a beautiful little slide there, 35% of those calls come in after hours or on the weekends. And really, that's unfortunate because those are missed opportunities. We all know that when families need help, that they're going to seek it. And so if you're not there, they might go to the next one. All right. So and Billy, I'll let you talk to this. If you don't have a dashboard that provides full visibility from the top of the sales funnel down to the bottom, this is something that's near and dear to our heart. That, you know, when we were actually doing the success fee model way back when, because the industry was used to paying for only move-ins, we had to do more. And if we had to do more, such as contact center, following up, lead nurturing, we had to have full visibility because everything was on our dime, and we only got revenue or got paid when things happen. So we had to build this type of technology. And now what we're doing is we're offering this back to the industry. And this just gives you a quick snapshot of what's out there. Bill, you want to go through some of these KPIs listed here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And to just build upon what Tim said, this is the visibility that we want to get to for the industry in terms of knowing their cost per lead and cost per tour and cost per move-in, not at a holistic view, but just by channel, by source. Where are they coming from, and how much are you paying for them? And this is what, again, how Tim said is, this is what we did, is started out knowing that we wanted this visibility, and now this is something that all of our clients just absolutely love in terms of being able to, you know, look at this really quickly and say, okay, where do I stand right now? And, you know, oh, wow, my cost per contacted lead is right where I want it to be, or maybe it's a little bit high. How can we improve that? So some of these KPIs is being able to see the number of leads that have been contacted, how they have moved down through the funnel into a tour versus a tour completed, deposit and move in. And then, you know, seeing the amount of inbound calls that are coming in on behalf of a single community, plus the outbound calls, and then the ad spend that is associated with them as well. And it's really been a game changer for us to be able to provide this sort of service for our clients, to be able to have that visibility into where their leads are coming from and how much it is truly costing them.
Got it. Great, thank you. All right, considering options. So this is what I'll call the lead nurturing aspect, whether you're trying to do this internal or external. I know Andrea, you and Debbie have done a fantastic job helping so many operators and communities out there maturing their lead nurturing strategies. We are believers in that as well. And the question would be, what percentage of the time does this come into play? We've got the life event, got to move dad or mom in tomorrow, so there's not much on the lead nurturing side. But what fascinates me is how many of those families come in way down the road, where if you are not nurturing them correctly, it's going to be out of sight, out of mind. And I believe what's critical is that the industry does everything they can to stay relevant to those families who may need the care down the road. So what I'll do is I'll stop right here. I believe we have another poll question. Andrea, is that correct?
Okay, so the next poll question, there's a couple that we have. Pick 3 of the following where you think you need to be ultra proficient.
Okay.
All right. And I've launched the poll.
Yes, I see it.
And we'll give some folks.
This should be interesting.
Yes.
Because there's a couple of schools of thought.
Okay, we've got almost everyone voted. Give it a few more seconds. Okay, we're going to go ahead and close the poll, and I will share the results.
Great. Oh, wow. Well, you talk about, a balanced distribution there.
Yeah.
We could have the great debate of 2019.
Interesting.
Right? Yeah, that is very, very interesting. Nurturing family relationships. That would be, we should make sure we get a screenshot of that and send that off to David Smith at Sherpa. He would probably be disappointed, but again, it takes all kinds to make the world go round. I believe we have one other poll question that we might want to just wrap with this. Let's is that okay, Andrea?
Yeah, I'm sorry. The next one I have is, on average, how many email marketing touches does it take to get a move in?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
This is, I would say that you should probably ace this one.
Let's see what the attendees think.
Okay, I'm gonna place my wagers out there.
What are you guessing? Yeah, what are you guessing?
I'll text you, and then that way.
Oh.
I'm texting you right now.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the poll. Share the results.
I won.
Did you get it right?
Winner.
He nailed it.
Yeah. No, that is so true. And again, you look at any industry out there, and the ones that are a little bit more mature on the marketing automation front, lead nurturing front, are just the biggest advocates that validate that belief that, look, you have to stay relevant, you have to be top of mind, you have to be at the right place at the right time. So kudos for those that agree. So let's just go ahead and share what the facts are. So the average number of emails sent per lead, 12 of those 30% are going to get opened. 5% overall will have some sort of action with respect to the request, the call to action. So that just validates it. And then let's rubber meets the road. This is critically important. Getting that family to the doorstep of the community is critical, because we all know that the tangible aspects of not only the physical nature of the community, but the soft side, the people. It's so important. And so what are you doing to deliver that incredible experience? And really, this is one thing, and I'm not sure, how many different providers or suppliers to the industry do this, but we believe for the industry, they need to start educating those salespeople or those recipients of the family welcoming to the community. They need to understand the context of the family situation when it arose. And so what we do, if you can see down here at the bottom of that page, there's a little play button that allows a community to listen in to the voice of the family that generated that tour. And so again, think about the salesperson running around crazy. Just it's so important for them to have the empathy, sincere empathy, and being able to hear the tone of the voice of the family of when they called in for that need is critical. And so this is one of the things that we're big believers in. And we just think whether it's through us or somebody else, this has to happen because it provides, again, transparency on the sentiment of the family. Okay, so here we are. This is the journey that we've covered, every single aspect of it. What we believe to be the end of the journey is probably not the case. And I can't remember, Andrea, do we have one more poll question out there, or was that it?
No, we have one more poll question. Actually, we have two.
Okay, great.
We have this next one is about online reviews.
Yep. Because this couples with that question, is this the end of the family journey?
Right.
Oh boy,
what's your guess here?
What probably some or barely. I'm not gonna say. What am I should have texted you that way I could win.
Yeah, you heard it here, folks.
All right, so I'm going to share the results. Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Frustrating. We should have a conference that focuses on nothing but this.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. I mean, that just validates what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. And are we going to do that other poll question right with this, or Billy, can you ask Melissa?
We can do that one at the very end.
Yeah.
Okay. That's right. I remember now. So here are 9 takeaways. So we believe that if you want to move the needle with respect to occupancy rates, and it's not all about occupancy rates, but if you ask the REITs and the owner operators, sure it is. But we believe, and this is our purpose, that seniors matter. Seniors deserve the very best care possible, and that you have to do a great job of delivering that experience throughout the journey. So the speed to lead, let's make a vow as an industry. Let's do a better job on that front. Nurturing the prospect to tour. We know that when tours happen, good things follow. Let's be better at really understanding, the sentiment of the family, and let's send out a post-tour survey. There's no question when we talked about pricing and online reviews. Boy, this is frustrating just because we have the contact center. The number of tours that don't show up. And this is connected to the marketing automation, SMS text messaging, reminding those families of that all important tour. I think this also is really important, getting them when they're knocking on the door, they're ready to make the commitment, helping the family understand why this is important. There's One Day, who's a video platform out there. I think that if they could maybe focus on some of these things, getting the emotional aspects to the forefront, that's gonna help. And so really, it's all about delivering that great experience that helps deliver a wonderful journey for those families. And again, if you are interested, give us a call. this is more about the reason why this is critical for the silver tsunami that's coming into the forefront. I've personally gone through this experience. I know how important it is for providers, care providers, to step up and really make it an easy decision versus holding that loved one back in the home that's cluttered and empty. It's really important. And so what we're going to do is we'll offer out the opportunity for those that are interested to see where you stack up on the customer experience. We'll do a free customer experience audit. So if you are interested in taking advantage of this, and there's no question there's going to be some labor on our side, but we're here to help. And if we can do that, you can answer that last poll question, and we will respond to you promptly.
Great. Well, thank you. We've got a few questions while people are finishing up with the last poll question. One of them that came in is, how do you know if speed to lead really matters and those leads wouldn't have been converted anyway?
Great question. Great question. There are ways to measure that, right? And so one of the things that we've done is we've measured the efficacy, all right, the effectiveness of speed to lead. So those that raise their hand, what is the down funnel conversion rate? And so, for us, we believe, and this is again through our last 2-3 years of data that we've accumulated, it's 4x difference in the speed to lead versus the slow follow-up. And obviously it's connected to the level of care. Independent living is a slower process, and so you've got time to reposition yourself if you weren't first to contact. So we believe that, number one, it's based on the level of care, what you'll see in the results. But number two, our data says that speed to lead matters. And if you do a search on speed to lead, there's several, actually, I think MIT or Harvard put some studies out a few years ago about that across multiple industries.
Great, terrific. Another question, and I get this a lot as well. I know you're saying we need to share our rate information. In my experience, the rate information tends to make people disqualify themselves before we've ever had a chance to speak with them. And if I had $1 for every salesperson that said, really, if I just spoke to them, I would make it better. So what do you think about that?
Well, this, having the good fortune to serve the banking industry for so long, and how I saw them fight that, and if just that loan officer could get that borrower on the phone, they would convince them that they fit this right. The fact is that the consumers, first place that they start their shopping experience or to find answers to their questions is the internet. They're going to do a search, and so the more educated they could be, the faster the decision will happen. And so the question would be, if you continue down this path of non-transparency versus transparency, what will the consumer ultimately force you to do? And I had a great conversation with, again, a seasoned veteran in the industry, and we had a passionate conversation about it, and we both believe that if you are not providing transparency or transparency, you're gonna be behind the 8 ball, and because consumers are going to get more used to it, and it's just going to become more ubiquitous.
Great, thank you.
And I'll add on to that. It's not just the showing your rates; it's showing what's inclusive of those rates. Is being transparent in what you're going to get with those rates.
I agree. All right.
All right. That was a great point. There's so many different pricing models that it can be very confusing to the customer. So it being as transparent as possible helps them make a good decision.
Sure.
We
Absolutely,
have one last question. And then before we do this, just want to remind everybody to go ahead if you're interested in a free customer experience audit. That's 5 hours of consultative services. I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to do that. Go ahead and click on yes. And now for our last question. How do you control for disgruntled employees leaving bad reviews?
Oh boy, it's tough. That's tough. So if you look at, so the hospitality industry is one that you can take a play out of the playbook from, that they've disciplined themselves to respond immediately to anything that goes out there. And unfortunately, I'm not sure that's the case with 100% of the communities in this ecosystem. And I know, Billy, this is something that's near and dear to your heart, because we help communities manage their reputation online, and we'll send alerts and notifications out if something comes in. You want to add your 2 cents to that?
Yeah, I think you're adding on to what you just said is perfect. I think it's twofold. Is responding quickly to if employees do leave a bad review, is getting on top of it quickly. So being notified that a lead or a review has been left is one of it. But then the other thing of it is soliciting good reviews and soliciting them from the right people. So your residents are those right people. The adult children or the family of those residents are the right people. So it's the twofold is, again, what I'm saying is limit the amount of bad reviews by staying on top of the visibility to your reviews, but then also engage in some sort of marketing automation where you're actively seeking out positive reviews from your biggest advocates, which should be your residents.
Great response. All right, Andrea.
Yeah, well, we are out of questions, and I want to thank you both. It was extremely informative, and it really hopefully lets people think about their sales process and making sure that they're not missing out on anything. And I think we answered the question to put on your website or not to put on your website, the pricing. Very important, right?
We'll see how that adoption comes.
Great. Well, thank you both, and thank you all for participating, and have a great rest of your day.